Good morning, ladies. You ready to start another day? It is another beautiful day here in southern Utah. Good morning. Good morning. Okay, go play. Go, go. Hello and welcome back to Honeybee Acres. This is Alicia. It has been a while since we made a video. A lot has been going on since we made the last video. It is springtime right now. It's getting to be close to the end of May. So we have been hard at work the last month or so trying to clean up the place, get it ready for spring and summer. We've been mowing, we've been weeding, we've been getting our garden space finally put together. We put up a fence around the garden space, which we've been talking about doing for, I would say, about 4 years now. We finally pulled it together this year and we are very excited about that. However, we have not done a good job of videoing all that we've been doing, and we're kind of kicking ourselves about that because we've been doing a lot of good stuff around here. So I thought today I would bring you guys out and just kind of catch you up on what we've been doing. Like I said, we finally put up our garden fence and we planted our garden this week, which we were so excited about. And besides that, we've planted a few other things around the property, and so I'm just going to kind of take you around and show you what we've been up to and how things are going. First off, I kind of want to talk about getting the garden, buying our plants. We took the kids a week ago and we were all so excited to pick out all the different plants we wanted. We all had different things that we wanted. I am the only person in my family that likes tomatoes. I love tomatoes. I grew up on homegrown tomatoes. My mom and dad were excellent tomato growers, and so that's something, and I've grown tomatoes a time or two, but not very often. So I was excited to get a whole bunch of different tomatoes. I want to learn to can this year. I've done a little canning, but not enough. So yeah, I wanted to plant a whole bunch of tomatoes and other things so that we can can and have, you know, homemade pasta sauce and that kind of thing. So I picked out a bunch of tomatoes that I was excited about. Other things that we wanted was squash, different kinds of squash. We got a bunch of different kinds of peppers, some onions, some watermelon, cantaloupe, pumpkins. Yeah, we all had fun wandering around the nursery, our little local nursery, and we all picked out things we wanted. And we were so excited. We brought our plants home and they were all so happy, tiny, cute little baby plants. And yeah, we were ready to plant. So we live in a colder climate, so we can't just plant a garden any old time, which most people can't, I realize. But we do have to be really careful about when we plant because oftentimes it can be too early and things warm up here starting in March, February, March, and sometimes we get a little antsy to start, you know, get spring on its way. But we know that we really shouldn't be planting our gardens around here until about Mother's Day, somewhere around Mother's Day. Usually we're pretty safe sometime right around or just after Mother's Day. And Mother's Day was 2 weeks ago exactly from this weekend. And so we thought we were pretty safe getting our plants in the ground and getting our garden going. Now I want to show you, first off, how awesome our fence looks. We are really excited about this. So here's our fence. Put a lot of time and work into that. We still need to paint the gate, but yeah, we did that 2 or 3 weeks ago. We set all the posts and built the gate and finally pulled ourselves together and got this beautiful fence in. So let me take you inside our garden. So there's kind of 2 rules of thumb that we follow around here for knowing when it's safe to plant your garden, and that most likely, or more like hopefully, we have much less problem with too cold of temperatures and freezing, because we don't want to put our garden in if it's going to freeze, because it will kill everything. So waiting until Mother's Day is one, and the other one, if you can see this mountain range out here, let me see if I can zoom in, right there in the distance, that is called the Duck's Back. And if you can kind of imagine for a minute, starting kind of on the left over there, it looks like a duck stretched out on its belly, and the top of the kind of higher part of that ridge is called the Duck's Back. And if you go to the right, it looks like it curves down, and that's its neck, and then curves up and it's its head, and down again, and that's the beak. But if you look at the Duck's Back right there, the other rule of thumb is if there is no snow up there on that Duck's Back, that you should be pretty safe. Of course, that is not a guarantee, because you can't guarantee anything with Mother Nature, right? But we went ahead and planted our garden because we were a week or so past Mother's Day, and most of the snow is gone up there. That should be a good sign, right? Well, we put our stuff in the ground about, it's been almost a week. It would be a week tomorrow. And 2 or 3 days later, guess what happened? We had a little bit of a freeze. It wasn't that cold. It wasn't supposed to get below freezing or even reach freezing, but we got up one morning about 3 days later, and there was frost on the ground. The animal water buckets had a little bit of ice on the top of their water buckets. And so we thought, oh no, this cannot be good for our garden. So let me show you what everything looks like. This right here, this little plant, 5-6 days ago, was a beautiful, healthy, bright green little jalapeno plant. He was so cute. She, I don't know. It was beautiful. Cutest little baby jalapeno plant you've ever seen. And now it's pretty much dead. Yellow, droopy, blowing in the wind. So sad. And that, my friends, is what most of our garden looks like. We had a bunch of onions that are all sad. Tomatoes are back there, peppers. We have one cucumber plant, a pickling cucumber, because I really wanted to pickle some cucumbers this year as well. One pickling cucumber plant. Let me show you this guy. He must be pretty strong. I guess all the plants are pretty strong. He looks like almost nothing happened. Going strong, little dude. Keep it up. We have a couple over here that they might pull through, but I'm not going to put money on that. So I would call this an epic fail. We're pretty sad about it. We were very excited about all these plants and the future they held. We had lots of dreams of big plump tomatoes and tomatillos for salsa with jalapenos, peppers, sweet peppers and squash, pumpkins, watermelon, cantaloupe. With these plants, that's not going to happen. Luckily, we're early enough we can replant everything. And I would say that I would call this a failure, but I think you've only failed if you don't learn something from it and you don't try again. And we are definitely going to try again, no doubt about it. So I am going to bring in a special guest here in a minute, our resident plant lady. Our daughter Abby works at the nursery where we bought all these plants. she loves plants. She loves to garden. She loves to grow indoor plants and outdoor plants, flowers and succulents and everything. And after we had this sad, I want to call it a fail, but we're not going to call it a fail. But after this happened, she said, well, you know, did you do this? And did you do that? Did you do your research before you planted this stuff? And we said, we did some research. We did a lot of research, but there was a couple things we missed. Some basic tips that everybody knows, we knew, but we kind of just we didn't think about it. So I'm gonna bring Abby in. She's currently at work right now, but in a little while she'll be home, and she's gonna share some of those simple little tips with us that we should have done if we had done our research like she said. Maybe we could have avoided this. So she will be here in a minute, and I'll let you know how that goes. Okay, so I'm back with my special guest, Abby. And like I said, she is our resident plant lady. She loves plants. She works at the local nursery, so she is learning a few things. And we realized that maybe before we rushed into planting our garden, that we should have maybe asked her for a few tips. And she did share some with us afterwards, but she wasn't here the day we planted, and we were anxious. We just wanted to get things in the ground and get our garden started. We were excited, and we probably should have thought about just those first couple of days. Is there something special we need to do? So when we told her that our garden was done for, because she hadn't seen it yet, what did you tell us?
Well, there are a couple different things you can do if you know that a frost is coming pretty soon. So one thing that you can do is you can buy a frost cloth, and it's just this thin little type of fabric that you'll put over your plants that lets rain and irrigation get through it, but it just protects like a really hard frost to get on your plants. So
we should have probably checked the weather.
Right.
Which we didn't do. And we should know better, because this time of year, Mother Nature is all over the place. And when you think you've just you've left behind that cold, frosty weather, she hits you with it again, kind of out of the blue. But had we checked our forecast for, the next couple of days, we would have seen that it was going to freeze, and we could have been prepared and hit the nursery and picked up some frost coverings. And you can go to your local nursery. They'll all have that kind of stuff. You just have to ask them, and they'll let you know. And then I think there was one other tip. You told us that we probably should have let our plants sit out for a few days to acclimate.
Yep. So usually at the nursery, we recommend that you, especially in a colder time of year, so it's still kind of uneven with the weather.
Fluctuates.
So, right. So we will say, let your plants sit out during the day and then bring them in at night. And you'll just slowly let them stay outside longer before you put them in the ground, just to kind of give them a chance to acclimate and get used to your zone and your area.
Perfect. Okay. So I feel like these two tips probably could have helped us if we had gone looking for that kind of, So thank you, Abby.
Yeah, no problem.
It's fun to have you here with us, and we're grateful to have her and her knowledge that she's learning at the local nursery. And all right, here I am with Elijah. So I showed you our epic fail in our garden, and clearly we have a lot to learn, and that's okay. We figure we'll learn as we go, and we didn't know how things were going to go with our garden, but they didn't go too well. Have you been out there and seen the sad garden? Yeah. Everything's pretty much dead. Yeah. I do feel like it's not a failure unless we learn something from it, and so we have definitely learned a few tips and tricks that Abby shared with us that we're going to do differently once we put new plants in the ground. We're going to have to replant our whole garden. Not most of it. So anyway, however, we did plant a very smallish spring garden back in, I don't know, maybe April or March. I can't remember. And it's doing okay. Everything's still alive, so that's a plus. Yeah. Elijah planted some peas, and they're probably doing the best. So I thought I would take you guys over, and Elijah could show you his peas And then he also wanted to plant some fruit trees this year. What kind of fruit trees did you want to plant?
So, I've always liked Granny Smith apples, so got one of those.
Mm-hmm.
And then I do like homegrown plums, so I got some sort of like Satsuma plum tree or something.
Yep. And did we pay for those? Did we buy those trees for you?
No, I paid for them.
You paid for them. What'd you do to have the money for those?
I just earned it.
How'd you earn it? Tell our viewers how you earned money to buy your own fruit trees.
I did work for people,
Yeah. Who'd you do work for?
grandparents and neighbors.
What kind of work did you do for your grandparents?
I did yard work for grandparents, and then I took care of animals for our neighbors when they were gone.
Yep. Elijah's kind of their go-to animal caretaker when they go out of town. So, and they have chickens and dogs and plants and an indoor cat. And so he waters their garden as well. And anyway, so yeah, he's had a chance to earn some money, and he decided he was going to buy his own fruit trees with that money. So we're pretty proud of him for working for that. They're not real cheap. So he definitely he used a good chunk of the money he earned. But hopefully it will pay off, and we'll go look at those trees in a minute, and you can show them what's up on your apple tree already. Huh? But let's go see your peas first. Alrighty, so we are following Elijah over to his peas, and I also wanted to show you our little kind of spring garden that we put in. Mike built some grow boxes, I don't know, back in March or April. And Abby, our daughter, well, you met her. She works at the local nursery. She brought home a few spring plants, or cold weather plants is what they called them. And we put those in, and they're doing pretty good. Some of them better than others, but you can see we have some broccoli, which I don't know, it might be going to seed, so, or blossoming, I'm not sure that's okay. But we have some cauliflower, some kale, we have a cabbage, purple cabbage. So these plants are doing pretty well. They are blossoming a little bit, so I imagine that's probably not good. Again, we don't really know anything. So here's Elijah.
So in this grow box that we built a couple of years ago, I have 6 pea plants.
And you planted those all by yourself. You put them in there, you've strung up the strings and
Yeah.
put the
I
boards
had
up
a little
to
help from Dad, but
yeah, but for the most part you did most of it yourself, huh?
Yeah.
So you have 6 plants here.
In this one I think I have 5.
Okay, 5.
So
Let's
1,
see.
2, 3, 4. No, sorry, 1, 2, 3.
Huh?
4, 5.
Oh, that's so fun.
And I think that's all for that plant.
Okay.
And
that's a lot more than was out here 2 or 3 days ago that we
there was,
saw.
like, all together on all the plants we saw 6.
Okay.
And that's 5 on just that plant.
Okay.
And then on this one there's 6, 7, 8, 9.
Wow.
Did I count that one?
6, maybe.
8, 9, 10.
Yep, 10. So we know you have at least 10 pea pods, and some of these plants are looking really good. I would say so far you've been the most successful. You've kind of taken care of these plants and watered them and checked on them, and so I would say thus far you have been a more successful gardener than anybody else around here, at least for vegetable gardens. Abby likes to grow plants, and she has a lot of plants she's growing right now. But as far as our veggies go, good job.
Thanks.
So we'll keep an eye on those. That's been pretty fun. Should we walk over and look at your trees?
Yes.
Okay. Let Oliver out because he'll probably whine if we don't let him out.
So there is an apple tree and that tree.
So yes, we have this tree.
that we learned about last year. We had no idea that it was there. Any of the
So
other
it's
years.
actually two trees that are intertwined. One is a fruitless, some kind of a fruitless fruit tree. But then last year we discovered all these green, like really green leaves growing, and all those branches growing out right there is, I mean, it's probably more than one apple tree kind of intertwining all over in this other tree.
But
We
because
didn't
we have the
notice
fruitless
it.
tree, it's not getting that much sun.
Yep. It looks healthy, but it certainly can't be happy. But there was a couple of apples in the lot last year. So we keep wondering if we should trim back the other tree, although we like it because it gives a good bit of shade. But we hate to see this apple tree struggling the way it is.
And
So,
yeah, my apple trees.
and you are very excited about this because, like you said, you love Granny Smith apples, huh? Those are one of your favorite fruits, and you eat them. You eat at least one almost every day.
Yeah.
Most days. So growing your own is going to be so much more exciting and more fun.
I think there's some growing already.
Yeah.
And we got this tree this year.
Yep. This tree is brand spanking new. It's been in the ground for what, like 3 weeks, I think.
Something like that.
But there is a bunch of what look like
Little apples.
little tiny apples. So
We're kind of worried about it though, because if the apples get too big and weigh the tree down, it's
Yeah.
just kind of a little rinky dink.
it's kind of just a little twig at this point, huh?
Yeah. So we're kind of worried about it, but
Yeah. So
I mean,
we're
if
going to
we
have to
think to
do.
hold it up.
We probably ought to get online and do our research and find out what we need to do, because if the apples get too big and too heavy, we may have to take them off for this year but maybe next year the tree will be bigger and stronger. So
Yeah.
one thing we are learning with gardening and planting is that we must be patient, huh?
Yeah.
We don't get things quickly or easily with these plants, obviously.
Yeah.
So we may have to wait, but maybe not. So we will do our research and make sure we take care of this tree properly, huh? Do you want to show us your plum tree?
And yes, here's my plum tree. And it's bigger, but
It
it doesn't have any
is.
fruit on it this year.
Yep. We didn't see any blossoms on this one, but it looks big and healthy and nice and green.
Getting new growth every once in a while.
Yep. So it's looking really, really good. Yeah. So that must feel pretty good to buy these yourself.
Yes.
Earn the money. You paid for them yourself. That was exciting. Was that fun going to the nursery and picking out the trees that you wanted?
Yes.
You were very excited about that, huh?
Yeah.
As soon as you had that money, you were hounding us to get you to the
Oh, yeah.
nursery, but that was fun, and we were happy to take you there and let you do that.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you, Elijah, for showing us the things you've been growing. You are, like I said, kind of showing everybody up right now, at least Dad and I. Abby grows a lot of things too, but it's more succulents and flowers and things. But you're the person to lead the way here, it seems.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, buddy. So there you have it, folks. That's how our first attempt at gardening went, and some of the other things we've been up to this weekend. It's been, in the last few weeks, it's been a great weekend. We've been busy doing lots of projects and things, and now we're going to enjoy sitting around the campfire with hamburgers and hot dogs and s'mores and just enjoy this beautiful evening. And we're grateful that you came and watched along with us. And if you liked this video, please like and subscribe and comment if you feel so inclined. We'd love to have you along for the ride. Have a good day. Thanks. Bye.